In this video, we're gonna learn about all 7 new Next.js file conventions for the app directory introduced in Next.js 13 in less than 10 minutes. We're gonna do so by building a real-world example app so that we know how to use them with confidence in real-world scenarios. So let's get started. Here, I created a fresh Next.js project using the npx create next app command with the experimental -app flag, which enables us to use the app directory where these new file conventions take effect. And I also added tailwind.js and created config files just to be able to get some styling done quickly, but feel free to use other CSS solutions if you like. And I'm also using TypeScript, but bear in mind that these file conventions are nothing TypeScript specific, so if you're in JavaScript, you should be just fine. If you look inside the app directory, you'll see that head, layout, and page files have already been created for you. And these are the most important files, and we are going to start with the layout file. The layout files are sort of wrappers around other pages, and you can use them to define common UI that's shared across many different pages. The children property here corresponds to either a page, another nested layout, error UI, or loading state. We'll talk about these in a bit. Layouts preserve state as you navigate throughout the app, and they don't unmount and remount. And this layout is a very special kind of layout. It's called root layout. It's compulsory, so you have to have it in your next project when using the app directory, and it also returns the HTML and body tags. Our layout is going to contain a navbar, so I'll go ahead and create a file for the component. The navbar is going to contain some basic stylings and 2 links, one to the home section and one to the video section of our page. Next, we're gonna go back to the layout file, import the navbar we just created, and include it in the HTML structure alongside with some minor stylistic changes. If we view the changes in the browser, we're gonna get something like this. Let's shift our attention towards page files. So whatever you're going to have in one of these page files is going to correspond to the children property of the nearest layout file. Let's hop over to our page file and define the contents for our home page. This is just static HTML, but we are going to fetch some data in a while, which you can also do in the page files. If we open the browser, we are going to see something like this. The navbar here is defined in the layout, and the rest of the page is defined in the page file. Now we're going to build the video section, and we are going to learn a lot about nested layouts to create the sidebar, as well as special files for defining loading states and error states, so definitely stay tuned. As mentioned earlier, children of the layout can be many different things. In our case, on the videos page, the child of the root layout is going to be another layout, which will render the sidebar that's going to be shared across the default video and the video detail pages. And the children of this nested layout are going to be wrapped in both this layout and the root layout. So let's now create the layout. We'll create a videos folder and we'll create the layout file. So this layout is going to fetch some data from the API. That's going to be the list of the videos. So we'll create an async component. We're going to fetch the data, and let me know if you want to learn more about data fetching in new Next.js 13. And we are going to return heading saying videos, and then we're going to return children, and we're going to iterate over the videos that we've got, and we're going to return links to the individual videos pages. We'll then create a page file to prompt the user to select the video if no video has been selected. If you now go back to the browser and click on the video section, you can see that the sidebar is being populated and the user is being prompted to select a video. While we're in the browser, we can notice that the title of the page still says Create Next App. We can quickly change this using the head file. The head file defines what's rendered inside the head of the HTML structure. Next already created a default head file for the entire app folder, so we can go ahead and change it to say new Next.js files instead of create next app. And for the videos route segment, we can also create a head file that's going to be more specific. So it's going to say videos instead of new Next.js files. In the browser, we can see that the title says videos for the videos page and new Next.js files for the home page. The very last thing left to do before jumping into file conventions for error states and loading states is to create a page for the video detail. We'll create a dynamic route segment. The ID is going to correspond to the ID of the video. You're going to create a page, and since we're fetching the video details from an API, we're going to create an async component, and we're going to get ID of the video in the params prop. We're going to fetch the video details. We're going to display the title, the number of views, and an iframe with the actual video. And we can see that our code is working in the browser. Now we've got a good understanding of the layout, page, and head files, and we can move on to the loading file. Let's say our API is slow and it takes a while for it to return the details of a video. When your user clicks on one of the videos in the sidebar, the page is going to be stuck on the select the video page before the video detail loads, with no indication that something's happening in the background. We can leverage the loading file to fix this bad UX. We'll create a loading file next to the video detail page, and the file is simply going to return a string saying loading. With this in place, Next.js is going to display the loading file while fetching is in progress, and is going to swap it out for the page file when the fetching has been finished. As we now display a loading indicator, we can see that the UX has improved. Bugs happen all the time, and it's good to have a graceful way of handling them. So let's say a nasty bug has sneaked into our code base. If we now try to view one of the videos, the page is going to crash, and we're not even logging the failure anywhere. To fight this problem, we can create an error page, which is going to create an error boundary for the root segment. Error files has to be client components, so we have to use the useClient directive. And let me know if you want to learn more about the differences between client and server components. In our error boundary, we are going to get the error in the props, we're going to log it to our API, and display fallback UI. If we try to view the video now, we're going to get a fallback UI, and we're going to log the error to the server. Let's remove the bug from our code base and focus on another very common problem: non-existing pages. If we try to navigate to a video with an ID that doesn't exist, we're gonna get a generic error page. This isn't that bad, but Next.js has built-in support for handling this in a more graceful way. To better handle notFound pages in Next.js, we need to do 2 steps. The first step is to import a special notFound function from Next.js and call it when the requested resource can't be found. The second step is to define a notFound file, which is going to display the fallback UI for the route segment. If we try navigating to a non-existing video now, we are going to get this very specific error message telling us what exactly happened. We have now just one file left to cover, and that's the template file. Template files are very similar to layout files, with one key difference. A new instance of the template component is created when navigating to a different page. That means that they don't preserve state. You might be curious what's going to happen when you have both layout and template files. Let's take a look. So let's say you're going to have a layout that preserves state. A layout is going to wrap everything, including the template, that doesn't preserve state, and then template is going to wrap everything else. As a new instance of the template component is created, whenever a user navigates in our app, we can leverage that to log page views to our API. So we're going to create a template file in the root of the app directory. And since we don't want to enhance the UI in any way, we're only going to return the children from the component. And we're going to use useEffect, and since we're using that, we need to use a client component. And in our useEffect, we are going to call our API to log the page view. And we can see that a new page view request is being fired whenever we navigate to a different page. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and feedback of any kind is highly appreciated. With that, thank you so much for watching and take care. Bye.